This is so weird feeling. Let's see. Oh, you can see the mic. Okay, is it all the way to microphone? Turn up the microphone. Is that what that means? All right, well, I would say let's wait, like a professional meeting. Let's wait until people join. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, my name is Katie. It's Kristen Diane, and this is as much of, because I'm going to be doing my own, what are these called? Graphics. And that's part of the stuff holding me back from creating more content. So I feel like a lot of the people who are watching this or would be watching this would already know me. So I feel like I'm introducing myself to someone who knows me. And then this was the beginning. Actually, I was going to scrap this, but I'm showing it to you because you're here. So when we talk about Martinez Street and what I want to accomplish, what I want to accomplish with this program, show, blog, vlog, whatever, podcast, this thing, or I'm speaking in this thing, and I'm looking in that thing, and you're in my bathroom, whatever it is. Okay. The goal of Martinez Street is to take accounting concepts and make them more understandable for the average individual and business owner. As we are all aware, the economy has not been doing so great lately, and inflation has hit our budgets pretty hard. I know it's hit mine. So when we talk about the economy, inflation, we're seeing also a lot of layoffs happen in corporate America. These are financial statement layoffs, basically to lower expenses, which would increase your income. And knowing things like that, just knowing stuff like, oh, a business would cut expenses, so it would increase income. How does income then get put on into our accounting equation, which is the core of accounting? Assets minus liabilities equals stockholders' earnings. We could call it retained earnings. We can call it net worth if we're talking about individuals. But that is the equation at the end of the day that matters. So it is my goal to take those concepts and make them less scary, and for people to feel comfortable saying, hey, I know you talked about what liabilities are, but I didn't really understand whatever portion of it. And for me to say, yeah, thank you. That allows me to make everything more understandable for everybody. And at the end of the day, we just keep creating the videos until they explain things in a way that is clear and concise, understandable, and not exclusionary. So when I say exclusionary, I am speaking about growing up poor, and then as an adult, working in around wealthy people. And the way that they would exclude me from the conversation would be to start using financial statement terms, start talking about business stuff, start talking about earnings reports. And there was nothing that I could do about it. It didn't matter if it bothered me. I did not understand what they were talking about. And as somebody who didn't grow up with money, didn't have experience with budgeting or getting credit cards, loans, etc., things like that, I aim to clear up a lot of things that seem difficult, but actually are quite simple. When you think about the accounting equation, and I'm going to say it a lot because I don't think that in any of these educational videos that I've watched, and I haven't watched many, I'm not going to sit here and claim to have studied other creators' YouTubes and how they're doing this, because what works for them is awesome. But what is going to work for me is not going to be the same thing. I'm a completely unique person. I think of things a lot of times in a different way. I grew up thinking that I was bad at math because I was told I was bad at math. I got lost in the second grade, and I was gifted and talented. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink too. As I'm sure many of you as well were often also gifted and talented and ADHD. And because I was good in reading and comprehension and English, they glossed over the math part and just kept pushing me forward because it's a numbers game at the end of the day. When I talk about the accounting equation and when I talk about accounting and I say things like it's not as difficult as it seems, I want to make it clear that it is not easy either. It is something that more people are capable of understanding than currently understand. When my main client, because what I do, so to continue with my background, I graduated high school in Corpus Christi, Texas, from Mary Carroll High School in 1999. I'm 44. I didn't go to college until I was 25. And then I started professionally at 30, maybe 29, almost 30. Prior to that, I worked in the service industry. I had moved to New Orleans when I was 18 and ended up bartending at a daiquiri shop on Bourbon Street called Mardi Gras Daiquiri, which is across the street from, or was across the street. I think they're still there, but businesses come and go from the famous store. So anybody who has spent time in New Orleans would know exactly the daiquiri shop in which I started working. I was tortured there because they had a CD with 7 songs on it, and the songs would play in repeat the whole shift. 7 songs. And they were songs that brought people in. It was great. You know, as soon as Must Be the Money came on, all of a sudden I'm knee deep in daiquiris and beer. And, you know, then strobing lights comes on and it kind of clears out a little bit. So it worked, but it was torture. I never want to hear that song. That's the one song that I never want to hear again. Like, it gives me goosebumps. Okay. So after New Orleans, before Katrina, I moved back to Texas, and I believe I moved back to Houston. I bartended at multiple places around Houston. I moved back to Corpus at some point and bartended there as well. I moved to Austin and I was offered a bartending job on 6th Street, but it was an 18 bar, and I was not aware of the mistake I was making by turning the job down. So I did turn that job down, and then I could not find a job in Austin. And after about a year, I left and moved, I believe, back to Corpus Christi. And then from Corpus, I was still bartending. I did that for almost, I would say 7 years, because at a certain point I meet a friend who invites me to go work at a swanky upscale martini bar. And I do. And from that point on, it was more of a profession than it had been before. I ended up taking the test to become a sommelier and passing. I'm level 1, the starting level. I do have a pin. When I was working, I was so used to the lifestyle by the time that I began thinking about college. But the reason I went to college was twofold. First off, I was tired of being treated like I was stupid because I didn't have a college degree. Water break. And then the second reason, why did I go back? I just wanted so much of what I did in my career was about proving people wrong. Anything that they said I couldn't do, I would do it. You can't be a manager if you don't have your CPA. Watch me. You can't make 6 figures if you don't have your CPA. Watch me. Why didn't I have my CPA? I was CPA eligible because it is a very difficult test. And not only is it a difficult test, but it takes a commitment. And I was working full time. Here's the thing: if you're going to be an accountant and go to a school for accounting, Texas A&M College Station is great because they graduate you as a CPA. That's like something you do during your graduate school. That is awesome, because that would have been the perfect time for me to get my CPA. But instead, I had to work. I wasn't accepted into graduate school because, like I said, I was not good at math. I did not think I was good at math. I got a 500 on my GMAT, and most of my score comes from the reading comprehension part. So it was embarrassing, where it's like, only a certain amount of the population are below you, and it's a very low number. That also can contribute to the feelings of not understanding math. So I don't blame myself there. Okay, so then what happened? I graduated college from the University of Houston with my bachelor's degree in accounting. I had an internship at a Big Four and was offered full-time. And in the meantime, I worked at a motor fuel tax firm, which was awesome. The thing about tax is that people are way more afraid of it than it is actually difficult. It's like when you get on that scary roller coaster and it's your whole life. You remember when we had Astroworld? There's that, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was a Texas cyclone, but it was really scary. Just the thought of being on it was scary. I don't like that feeling of falling. So, anyway. Yeah, pop my neck real quick. Pop my neck, my back, my neck, my back. The less amount of people watching, the crazier it'll get. It's like everything happens in reverse. You have to know about it. So then it goes to 0. How funny. That's okay. I can still talk about myself to myself. I could talk all night long about everything. We don't care. We like Gollum. My precious. Okay. Graduated with my bachelor's degree in accounting. I went to the classes that I needed to take in order to get my 150 hours for CPA credit. Or so I could sit for the CPA. So I am CPA eligible. And I don't think that really matters because I'm not interested in certifying financial statements. And I'm not interested in going back to corporate America, period. It was not meant for me. And I knew that before I even started. Checking to see. Because I'm pretty sure, like I said, the people who are going to be watching this are going to probably already know me. Okay, so let's see. Grew up poor, graduated high school, got kicked out at 16. I was not the kid that this was expected from. I remember I asked a good friend of mine if we were talking about how crazy it was, how life had turned out. And we've been friends for a very long time, since middle school. And this was probably in our mid-30s. And I said, did you ever think that I would be a professional like this? And he was like, no, that I never would have put my money on that. That's how weird it is for me to have become a professional. Let's see. I have notes. One of the reasons that this is important for me right now is because of the economy. And because the economy is experiencing turmoil and we are seeing layoffs, we are going to see more people go out on their own and start their own businesses. I want to make sure that when you start your business, you have an understanding of the financials. And I say this to every business owner I work with. If you don't know what the numbers are, then you're not running a business, okay? Because if you were running a business, you'd be running it for profit. uh, the security guard. And if you were running a business for profit, then you would know a lot more about the numbers and your financials. And it's okay to not understand the accounting part right now, because that's what I'm here for, is to help guide you through the steps to understand when you invest in your company and you open up that business bank account and you put cash in there, you can go to your accounting software and you can debit cash and credit your retained earnings or equity. And right away from the start, your books are better than 90% of businesses I deal with if you just did that one thing. I think also one of the great reasons, one of the great reasons to watch me is that I have the tax experience. And of course, none of this is financial advice and none of it is tax advice. I am not qualified to give either of those. This is educational. I may be wrong. Things change. I might have old information. I try to keep up. I try to make sure that I know if my client had a penalty or interest in between the years 2021 and the end of COVID, that they should be filing protective claims. I know that. But, and then I guess my point at the end of the day is that when you are looking for somebody to do your taxes and you feel like you need to have it be a CPA, make sure that they are experienced in tax, because it's not impossible, but it helps to understand how to read the tax code. And that is honestly the area that's going to get almost everybody, which is kind of baloney considering that we are supposed to be able to do our own taxes, and therefore we should be able to, one, have access to the tax code, and they do provide us with instructions I like to call and get the physical paper ones. I have a big stack of them. Look, I'm late on my 2024 taxes. So I'm thinking that's something we could do together if it was something that I recorded prior, not live. Because live, I wouldn't be able to blur out all of my info on the screen. But to show you the process that I go through with every return, because a lot of you have gotten to the point where you're just feeding the machine the information it's asking for and then trusting it to be correct. I will tell you that when I worked in accounting and tax, regardless of whether it was public accounting or industry, which is private company, even if they're publicly traded, public accounting, you work for many companies. It's partnership. So you're like a consultant for their accounting department, because it's hard. It is very difficult to keep up with tax. How do tax laws get passed? Do we know? Congress. So every time a bill goes across from the House to the Senate and back, and then they do the resolutions and they figure it all out, there's always tax code included in legislation. Okay, so one of the major, I would say, important things for tax is to remember that it is extremely specific to your individual situation. And so it is incredibly difficult to give any type of advice on tax without being involved in the financials. So when people ask me things, the answer always comes at the end of the day is it depends. because there's always an exception. Okay. Lottie, lottie, lottie. Nobody wants to party. Okay, so I told you everything I wanted to tell you about myself. And there's nobody here to ask me anything. Let's see what's going on in the news, and or on my feeds, because I got logged out of my alt, and all of my emails. So now I have to figure out my password so I can log back into my Blue Sky, my other Blue Sky. A moment of silence for today. I think if you're looking for somebody who is serious and is just going to tell you the information and that's all you want is the top level, this isn't the channel for that. If you need somebody to not make mistakes, this is not the channel of that for that. That's who. What am I most proud of as an accountant? Let's see. I guess I would be most proud of the fact that I became an accountant. That was definitely not something I felt qualified for. I had not been good at numbers, which is funny because accounting is almost zero about numbers, but so just getting my degree is what I'm proud of. And being able to sit for the CPA if I so desire. Oh, yeah, the phone. Thank you, Mr. Chad. Okay, let's see what's going on. Mexico playing. That's why I have nobody watching. The World Series is going. Who am I to compete? World Series. The World Cup. What are your best accomplishments as an accountant? Being recruited by the Big Four was awesome. It was such a great experience to work with the smartest people in the industry. And not only did I get to work with the smartest people, but I was able to work on issues that were not resolved matters in tax. And so, although that probably does not sound exciting for most people, as a tax person, I thought it was incredibly fun to create spreadsheets around new data and how to calculate the results. I need to learn how to end the answer in the statement. And oh yeah. Mr. Chad again. Okay. LNG market disruption may continue for months as a top producer withholds some Italian shipments. So the country, Mexico, of course. Viva la raza! So LNG stands for liquefied natural gas, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I know that it's a fuel type. But I don't exactly know what it's a fuel type for. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? I wanted to be able to use my knowledge in a way that was beneficial to others. I have volunteered for VITA, which is the IRS tax preparation for free if you meet certain income requirements, which change annually. And I felt like it was the right time because we are having so much stress in our market based on simply even just the AI explosion. You have a lot of assets in one part of the basket. It's something we might want to talk about. I also believe that people are capable of understanding this better than they expect. And I'm willing to take the time to figure out the best way to convey that information. Thank you again to my number one chatter, top fan, Chadley. I've been going through, by the way, if you are over 45, schedule your colonoscopy. Just go schedule it. Just do it. It's a pain in the ass. It sucks. The drink is terrible. It was like a form of torture. I'm pretty sure it is a form of torture. I wouldn't break under many situations, but if Sure Prep were my thing I had to do in a torture session, there's no way. It was terrible. But it wasn't difficult. Besides, you have the inconvenience of the cleanse. And just think, that is the least full of shit you've been probably since you were a baby. So. It was torture. You have to get some plan. There needs to be a mental preparation for the sure prep. Yeah, for everybody involved, especially because you're probably going to need a cheerleader in order to finish it. And especially after you do the first part, because there's two, because it's literal torture. um, you're not going to want to do the second part because you're looking in the toilet, you're seeing what you should be seeing. It's all good. You are wiped out. There's nothing more you have to give to the ceramic gods. Except there is. But you get a game plan together for a bunch of clear liquids and a bunch of different flavors because you don't know what's going to like cancel that out for you, that flavor. For me, it was ginger ale. I went into it like a soldier, just gonna chug it through a straw. And oh, what a nightmare. I have more imaging to do, unfortunately. I've been having these stomach issues going on. This is 2.5 years. But as all of us Americans are aware, even if you have a good paying job, even if you have good insurance, insurance doesn't cover shit. So this was not something that was covered because I had a tummy ache when I did it. And so it's diagnostic and therefore not covered. And I'm sure the x-ray and the additional mouth scope will also not be covered. But it'll happen the same day, so it's just one visit. And I get to have propofol again. And you don't realize, like, you are going to be high the entire day. You might not think you are, but the next day, go and look at your texts. You were typing like a drunk person after the club. Just be aware. It hits everyone different. I'm sure you'll be fine. Now let me like my followers on Blue Sky know that I'm I should grab a link, but I am not sure. Exactly how. I had more people watch my kitty post, which Blue gets no love on YouTube. It is really weird. But I got more views on my private Facebook page on that video than I did on YouTube, which was 44. Like, how don't you love cats? That's like the whole internet was built on that. I had a cheeseburger. I had to live with that, and now my cat being cute is of no regard. It's insanity. See, what I'm trying to do here is find a link, but I don't think I have one. Well, you're just going to have to do it the manual way and come, typing it out, not with the link, not pressing a button. Well, we can do it. All right, let's see if anybody comes. Because I have not been feeling well, I have also not been eating because food. I tried to eat a slice of pizza and I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning suffering. It's like, what's worth that? I knew that I was going to drink so much water that I was going to have to pee during the middle of the show. And when I get up to go, you're going to see that this chair has these missing pieces of fabric because my eldest decided that was a good way to create elbow rests. This thing that like this, but like here. Dude, Kelsey paints. Okay, this is gonna be at KELSEY, P as in Paul, AI, N as in Nancy, T as in thunder, Z as in Zeta, zebra, Zango. Kelsey paints. Go look at this amazing beaker. I love it. I see so much of y'all's art, and of course right now I'm just starting. Look, this is what starting looks like. It's terrible. It's messy. I don't know what I'm doing all the way. I don't know what my options are, okay? But it's not always going to be terrible. It's going to get better over time, like everything I do. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want you to know that when I can afford to buy your artwork, I really, really want to. There's so much cool art on Blue Sky, so many amazing creators. Oh, my back. Okay, well, let's get a moment of silence for scrolling. We're scrolling. I don't know yet how to share my screen. Because if I did, that would be way more interesting than just sitting here looking at me. So we have two problems right now. One, the Wi-Fi, it's not reaching the office. So filming that's why I'm filming in the restroom. And what's my second problem? Is that copyrighted? I don't know. Sorry. Let's see. Wi-Fi issue and not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing how to use stuff, just needing to do more research. It's been tough because creating content takes as much time as then figuring out how to edit videos and stuff like that. I really wish I had a budget for an editor or whatever the title is. Because I know that this channel will be great. I know it will. I also know that I have strengths and I have areas where other people are strong for me. And so I just want to pass the ball. So that way I'm just in a little circle and we could just be scrolling together, looking at stuff or whatever, financial statements you wanted to look at. But no, because this is my first live stream and we knew that how this was going to go from the beginning. Hi, baby. I love you. Getting support from the fam, always amazing. I wanted to say that I'm not ashamed that I have a YouTube channel. The reason I haven't really posted about it to my friends is because there's not a lot of content. And the paper mache content is really fun to make, but it's at a not fun place to watch make, like the pulp. It's like watching grass grow or paint dry. Paper mache pulp dry. But I did solve a problem in my dream by taking the pulp and the part that I'm going to use for cheese, I dyed it yellow with food coloring. Amazing, right? I know. It's incredible. Who can stop me? It's wow, like the power, right? Aw, Mel Brooks. Thank you so much for all of your happy birthday wishes. Honestly, I don't really feel 100. I feel pretty good. I feel like I'm only 98. That's so cute. And then, of course, please don't. Everybody, I don't know. You just can't. Everybody's a milkshake duck these days. Y'all are so sweet. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah. Oh shit, I'm dropping my phone. So since it's only y'all, I'm debating going to the restroom. Because you're going to hear me. I could put it on mute, but then what fun is that? So, content warning, you're about to hear a little bit of water hitting other water, and then a bowl flushing, and then water turning on so that hands can be washed. This might be traumatic for some viewers, especially ones that don't wash their hands after they use the restroom. I will give you about 10 seconds to go ahead and walk away. Give me about, I would say, a minute, and we'll be back to talking about things. This is the 10-second part. I keep wanting to hum copyrighted things. I can't do that right. All right, I think that was about 10 seconds. This is going to be awesome for later when this is a recording. See those beautiful holes? That wonderful arm rest, elbow rest. Genius, really. When you think about it. Oh yeah, you coming to co-host? I'm back. How is that? Things. Yay. Yeah. That's a good idea because this cat is named ironically. No, it's not irony. The cat's just named Blue. How's the volume level? No. Oh, he's stepping on the keyboard, doing the cat thing. I'm so obsessed right now with Florence and the Machine's newest album, Everybody Scream. Oh, there are some songs on there that are just like magic. And what's amazing about that is I know that's what she was going for. You know, she talks about it. It's not like I'm guessing that. Look at me, I'm so prescient. Or what? Cats are crazy sometimes. Okay. So this is not going to be the place where I'm going to be able to do the screen and share my screen. Which means I have something new to learn. What software and how to connect it to make it run here. And that is why it is so important to not wait for things to be perfect before you begin. Because you have no idea what perfection looks like until you get there. And what you're going to find out when you begin is that it's like every task has a subtask. And then some of those have their own subtasks. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. But once you start, you're on your way. You got it. You just got to keep going, keep pressing through, keep doing the chores, keep learning the softwares, and just trust that your hard work will pay off. It's almost midnight. And so I want to say happy Pride 2026. I am extremely grateful for all the love that I have with my found family and my family who love and support me. If you got to this part of the video after the live, thank you for staying around. You never know what's going to happen at the end. Nothing today, for sure. Nothing. But there's always the edit button, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. And when we do, it's going to be awesome. Let me hold up my sign again in case you missed it the first time. I was going to show you my sommelier, but certificate, but I don't know if I didn't bring it up or if I just slid it between the pages of something else and then forgot about it. I would not put that past me. I think it's important to know that I have a lot of business templates on Patreon. I'm also on Instagram. Everything has the same name, Martinez Street, MRTNZ Street. It's pretty easy to find me, even at Gmail. And I look forward to helping people, making the accounting equation, which is assets minus liability equals equity. And what is equity? It's our net worth if we're individuals, our net profit or net loss if we are businesses. No, that's not right. I don't think that's right. 12 is late for me. I'm usually in bed by 10 person. But if I'm going to do these late night rundowns, let's look at the end before it's gone forever. I might have to get used to midnight. Riding on the midnight train in Georgia. All right. Thank you. I love you. To my family, everyone else, you're amazing. What can I say? I'm so grateful for all of you. I have been very supported on this journey, and I appreciate it. I look forward to doing more of these and them being way more organized because this is crazy. Chaos. Bye. Adios. In